Life is a journey in pursuit of the brightest stars. It is a treasure that some cherish, yet squandered by others who go after fireflies. The direction we choose is ours alone to make. Fethullah Gülen, the Islamic scholar, author, and poet, chose to seek the stars, and so has passed his life continually seeking the brightest and leading the masses in that direction. Fethullah Gülen said, "Those who pursue high purposes and take action to accomplish them remain alive." His entire life stands as a powerful testimony of his words. Those who hold the holy grail of hope in their hands should fashion the hearts of generations with lofty goals and guide them to the paths leading to the fountain of revival. Guided by the Quran and the Prophet Muhammad's example, peace be upon him, Gulen urged tens of thousands to cherish this treasure of life, to live fully, and to breathe life into others, not to squander the precious gift they've been given. Throughout history, each scholar has drawn unique insights from the tradition, developing distinct approaches to engage with the world. Hizmet, serving God through serving humankind, became the guiding principle Gulen derived from the Prophet's heritage, a blueprint tailored to meet the needs of our age. Born in 1938 into a tumultuous world in a far corner of Turkey, Gulen grew up in a poor yet devout family, one filled with love and a commitment to spiritual excellence. Despite the harsh economic conditions and the political persecution faced by the faithful under the ruling regime, his family immersed themselves in Islamic knowledge and devotion. Deeply inspired by his parents' commitment to faith, and having been tutored by some of the notable religious scholars at the time, Gulen quickly emerged as an influential preacher with scholarly authority in Islamic sciences. In the 1960s and 70s, his heartfelt sermons, evocative of the time of the Prophet, drew a growing nationwide following. What truly set him apart, however, was his emphasis on education and dialogue. "We must wed the mind with the heart," Gulen said, encouraging scientific exploration of nature and the cosmos with a spirit of awe and wisdom, while also calling for self-discovery rooted in honest faith and practice. Gulen's efforts and compelling teaching gave rise to what is now known as Hizmet, a global educational movement whose volunteers have established hundreds of schools across the world. Through extensive outreach programs, Hizmet has connected with diverse communities of faith, culture, and race, demonstrating that peaceful coexistence is always possible despite our differences. In response to Gulen's emphasis on charitable work and economic solidarity, the movement actively works to alleviate poverty, particularly in underprivileged nations, by providing relief through hospitals, health clinics, and the construction of water wells. Gulen was famously known for his unwavering stance against violence, radicalism, and the exploitation of religion, especially Islam, for political gain. Despite his dedication to these values, he was perceived as a threat by the ruling elite of Turkey, who ultimately forced him into exile, never to return. Like many luminaries before him, Gulen faced repercussions for the ideals he championed. After a life of service dedicated to humanity, Gulen passed away in Pennsylvania, USA on October 20th, 2024. Despite spending his last 25 years in exile, his message of peaceful coexistence continued to thrive and gain acceptance worldwide. Following in the footsteps of scholarly giants of the past, he taught until his final days, fostering dialogue across different walks of life, between secular and religious communities, East and West, science and faith. Now on the path to the stars and having returned to the beloved, his legacy continues to inspire a commitment to peaceful coexistence and service to humanity, principles that resonate powerfully in today's polarized world.
Hocaefendi, as we affectionately call him, I believe, had three very significant arcs in his life. This is something I feel very important, not just an observation by me, but some of his leading students. That is, he's an imam, a religious guide, as we know, and he has really excelled in that. Being very classically trained, yet he has constantly and always updated and widened his knowledge to encompass the modern problems that we can be guided with. He was a scholar of divinity and character development in the whole sense of the word, because his interest was not narrowly just defined by his first trait as an imam, but he knew and he always reached out how to talk to other faiths and other ways of growth. And also he was a leader for social transformation and world peace. And he took that very seriously, as you saw in the video, despite 25 years of being exiled, and which was a self-imposed in order to ensure that the strain and tension in the country, in Turkey, was not associated with him. So another interesting character he has, I believe, is not only he has these three large arcs, but those three arcs were always interwoven and extremely elaborately and always in harmony. You did not see a clash of these three important traits, which will be a remarkable achievement in itself, because rarely one individual excels in any one of them, but he was able to carry these three distinct and unified mission in one person. Some of his remarkable traits that I think we should all remember in this service is that he was very consistent in following messages and hallmarks. He exhibited a selfless altruism. He was totally sincere in his humility. If you were in his presence and if you were with him, you would distinctly feel this. He had carried a genuine care for proactivism. He warned us for being reactive, being swayed by moment of events of momentary consequence, but look into the more positive and lasting messages. He embodied collectivism. He has never tried to do something alone, but he always reminded that we can only achieve goodness with collective action. He had an uninterrupted love for education and learning. He did not have receive a formal education. He completed some of his education externally with exams and so on. But his knowledge and his knowledge of the modern literature and modern knowledge was unimaginable to those who have perhaps went through some of higher learnings. He has demonstrated incredible scholarship. He had written more than 80 books. He has countless well-qualified students that he trained as a scholar, and he had many public sermons and lectures that we all benefited from. He had an unwavering constancy in prayer and contemplation. Somebody so productive, so in front of people, perhaps may have easily been subject to perhaps being visibility, but he preferred being in contemplation, almost hidden if he can. And also he had an ardent attachment to applied peace and unconditional dialogue. Because as you know, some can talk about peace, some can maybe advocate dialogue, but it's another thing to go out and practice this. And he had in them this understanding, and he has always imbued in his teachings to us that we must have an unwavering commitment to peace and dialogue.